Good morning. Monday, January 8th at 9:30. This is a scheduled meeting of the Griggs County Commission. Please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call. Abriel.
Here.
Tranby.
Here.
Zorn.
Here.
Edlund.
Here.
And Wakefield's here. Approval of the agenda. I don't have any additions or subtractions.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Edlund to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Tranby. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. If you'd have a look at the December 21st meeting minutes first.
I make a motion to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading.
We have a motion by Edlund to approve the December 21st meeting minutes and dispense with the reading. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Tranby. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 21st meeting minutes approved. Move on to the 28th meeting minutes. Same process whenever anybody's ready.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And dispense with the reading.
Dispense reading it.
Motion by Tranby to approve the December 28th meeting minutes as presented and dispense with the reading. Could I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Avery. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 28th meeting minutes approved. On to the appointments.
So I think I take over, right?
No, not when there's not a vacancy, I don't think.
Okay.
Nominations are open for chairman.
John Wakefield.
We have a nomination by Zorn to nominate Wakefield as chairman. Any other nominations? The next process is in this whole, on all these, is to have somebody cease nominations and then move on to a vote.
Or you could just ask 3 times.
Hmm?
You just have to ask 3 times.
We've done it this other way,
Yeah.
but yeah. Because we didn't open discussion on it really, so we didn't have a vote, so we had a nomination.
No, just need to say
Any
it 3
further
times.
nominations? Any further nominations?
Thank you.
Okay. Barring no further nominations, we'll all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Same process with the vice chairman. Nominations are now open for the vice chairman. It's kind of important we have one because in case I can't be here, someone's got to be here to run the meeting.
Let's say Scott.
Averill nominated Tranby as vice chairman. Any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Barring no further nominations, we'll move on to the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Tranby's vice chairman. Now, the board appointments, just kind of up to you guys. What do you want to do with that? Are you satisfied with where you're at? Do you want to make changes? What's that? It's kind of open for discussion.
I'm good where I'm at. Yeah.
Stephanie?
I'm good.
So at that point, then we would need a motion to leave the appointments in place and
So
from
moved.
2000. We have a motion by Edlin to leave the board appointments intact for 2024. All in favor signify. Oh, I have a second to that. Second by Tranby. Now, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Appointments approved. Bills. Samantha.
There is a few in here for dues. Your GovernSoft is the yearly due for that. There is one for the North Dakota County Commissioners Association, if you guys wish to be part of that.
Yeah.
You haven't in the past, but
Right.
you may. Then the NDACO, just the original dues is in here. The post board dues for the sheriff's office is in here.
For the what?
The post board for switch the page. For Michael is in here. Treasurer's dues is in here. I thought there was, Jamie's dues are in here.
Law license, half of the law license.
Yep.
But aren't all these in their budgets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But just let
Except
you know.
except for the North Dakota
County
Association
Commissioners.
of Counties.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So nothing of consequence. So the dues are in their budgets. The North Dakota Association of Counties. We are a member of the main organization, but not the county commissioners. It's just kind of a duplication of. I think they get together to have coffee and cake once a year or something.
I make a motion to accept the invoices with the exception of the
Yeah, I believe it is.
North Dakota Commissioner Association.
There we go. Some four-letter acronym. We have a motion by Edlund to accept the bills as presented with the omission. What page is that on?
Yep. Right there.
Of the North Dakota Commissioners Association for $1,725. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. Any further discussion on the bills?
I probably should say one thing. I'm gonna just give a plug for the County Commissioners Association, just because they are responsible for the training of the commissioners and ILGs and that sort of thing. I think it's a beneficial cause to the county to pay in the County Commissioners Association, a new member of it. The Association of Counties Lobbyist Group, we've looked to them for help in lobbying, and they have gone to bat for the county. So I just want to say I think that it's a worthy due to pay and a worthy membership to have.
Is that a duty as you're being on the board? Is that a duty of being on the board of the North Dakota County?
I'm actually the president of the Association of Counties this year, as you guys know. It's not a duty of the board, but I really do feel that it's beneficial.
Well, as far as I know, we've gotten by without it for the last 13 years. I don't see any need in it, but
If you guys want to think about it and add it to the next
Yeah.
run, we can do that
Yearly
too.
budget.
Okay. Does that sound okay, Sam?
Bring it back next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we can do a little bit of research on it and follow up on it. And
We have a second.
I'll second
Second by Tranby to approve the bills as presented. No, we were already on to the discussion.
Yes.
That was in discussion.
it. Yeah.
Any further discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Aye in the affirmative, nay in the negative. Averill.
All right.
Tranby.
Aye.
Zorn.
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Bills approved. Monthly office reports. We don't need a motion on this. We just need to look at them. Of course, some questions if they come up.
Listen.
Blessings.
Bless you.
I second that.
You're so blessed.
If no one has any objection, we'll move on from the office reports to Sheriff Hook and the Sheriff Office update.
Okay. First update is Deputy Risva is starting training on Wednesday for roughly 3 weeks. He and Chief Deputy Beaver have worked out his schedule to cover the hours during that. He will work on weekends, so that's going to be taken care of. Let's see. I brought the last meeting a voucher for $5,000. I changed that today to a little over 3,000. That money is intended to go to Annie DeWalt for her service sheriff's office, and hoping to retain her. She is not a licensed peace officer, so I cannot get that money from her directly. So I put a voucher in my name for $3,384. I will cash that check, pay the taxes on it myself, and that money will go to her. So I guess I'd like some action on that. It's either a yes or no. We don't have to go into discussion over it.
I got to ask the obvious question, Bob. Why doesn't the money just go right directly to her?
The county commission is welcome to do that. I cannot pay her that directly because she's not a licensed peace officer. I tried to get her additional funding through the budget process, and that didn't work. So that's just where it's at.
How much do we get for the back of the blue?
There's 11,000 and some change. That would be a little over 4,000 in that account.
And then Beaver and then.
They've already got
Got
their
theirs
initial.
recognized.
Yeah, they got a recruitment fund.
Okay.
You guys proved that last time.
This is a state grant that doesn't allow the money to go to Annie, and we're trying to circumvent that
Oh, I'm just saying.
by.
I'm
Let
asking
me
for money
let me
myself.
finish.
Yep.
We're trying to circumvent that and
No.
give her the money outside the parameters of the grant. Won't that jeopardize
No.
not only this grant but future grants? And
No.
and isn't that fraud?
That's not fraud, John. Once I'm paid my bonus, I can do what I want with it.
You just said what you're going to do with
Yeah,
the
and
money.
I'm just telling you what I'm gonna do with it. But I can do that. And
I
cannot do
won't.
that.
I won't be a part of it. That's
Okay.
for sure.
That's fine. I just need an answer, either yes or no.
Now, are we giving the deputies a bonus now, and they sign on, and we're giving a bonus after,
And then,
after a year?
There are, and then if they find another deputy that wants to come here, there's some recruitment money there. You can get that person a recruitment check. And then if you want to, it's got to be paid out by the end of 25. So if you guys want to do a retention bonus for whoever's here at that time, you can do that.
We're in the last meeting, weren't we talking $1,000 sign on and then a 2,000 after a year?
Yeah.
So it'd be 3,000, being $9,000 total.
Yep. And like I said, if this request is a no, then that's a no.
It'd be.
Well, they don't have to be lumped into one. I think the
Right.
deputies should certainly receive something, whatever we agree to. But I don't see, Bob, how in the world we can circumvent the rules of this grant and and get that money to Annie when she's not entitled to it, and we know she's not entitled to it, and then we're part of the process. I think that is really a gray area, if not black and white.
You have anything on this, Jamie?
Well, it puts me in a crappy position. Do I think Annie's deserves money? 100% deserves money because she's done a lot of work for the sheriff's department.
Yep.
Absolutely 100% deserves money. I don't know if this is the right way to get her the money, but does she deserve it? 100% deserves it. But I think there should be a different way to get her that money rather than going through the grant.
Totally good with that.
Any other options you think of?
Well, I mean, she can be paid out of some salary from some place from the sheriff's department, but I'm hesitant in saying give her the grant money because she's not a licensed peace officer.
Well, we wouldn't be giving her the grant money.
Giving it to Bob.
We give it to Bob. What Bob does with it is on his own will. Kind of like we don't ask what you get to do with your money. You know, it's
But
yeah.
you know what Bob's intentions are.
right.
You just made it a public record.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but I
But-
think Annie is 100% deserving of that money. So that's up to you guys how you want to get it to her. But I think it's awfully questionable that we're discussing into the meeting.
I prefer to visit Bismarck, not live there.
Yeah, right?
But, any ideas?
I mean, yeah, payroll. I mean, that's
Yeah, you've got a deputy payroll that's not gonna be touched at least for a month.
You have the ability
Probably 2 months.
you have the ability to give her
More than that if you want.
some
Yeah.
sort of compensation.
But then you're looking at a bonus situation.
Yeah, I know, but
But on the same token, you take the guys at the county, like last winter, all the hours that those boys put in the blades and everything, we didn't give benefits to them,
Right.
you know?
So,
And they were deserving, and I'm sure she does too,
Yeah.
but where are we gonna start and stop?
so these are two separate issues. Let's
Yeah.
concentrate on the grant right now to
Okay.
the deputies.
Yeah.
I think that was where we're at, Bob,
Yeah,
correct?
so the final update on that is Deputy Beaver and Deputy Rispa received their recruitment bonus, or whatever you wanna call it.
yeah.
They've got that, so right now, the money's sitting in the back to the blue account. And if you hire another deputy, you can pay them a recruitment fee, and then before the end of 25, you can pay them retention fees. And that's where you're at. So, if this is a no, it's a no. And there'll be no hard feelings on my part. Just it won't.
Well, yeah, it's really awesome, Bob, that you're the hero here.
No, I'm not a hero.
No, but just listen, because this puts me in a crappy position,
I
and
know.
you always do this. I'm always having to be the bad guy. And,
I don't think you're the bad guy in this
well,
meeting.
you probably don't, but Andy's gonna say, well, Jamie just took $3,000 out of my pocket.
No, we've already talked about it. We had an
So-
open discussion. You were there. We all three were there.
I don't think that's terribly fair to say, well, yeah, I mean, she's deserving of it. She's worked the sheriff's office, and she got calls in the middle of the night from the sheriff's office,
Yep.
or for the sheriff's office.
I know.
You know, it's above and beyond what she was required to do. She was supposed to be here from 8 to 4:30, so yeah, I absolutely think that she's entitled to some compensation for working in the sheriff's office.
So I'll say it, there's 5 people in this room that have a vote on this. And if it's no, just vote it no, and let's move on to the next item. I'm good at that.
It doesn't even have to be voted no.
Right,
It doesn't-
correct.
If it doesn't even come
Right.
up for a, if it doesn't even come up for a
We'll
vote.
just move forward then.
Any further discussion on this, I think we should put it on the agenda for next meeting as far as the setting the recruitment and the retention,
Yeah.
and then we'll move on from there. In the meantime, there can certainly be some work done as far as what budgets money are available. That would have to be with the sheriff, and what money's available for a bonus or however you're gonna do it, and we can talk about that also. But to get into a situation where we know where the money's going, and we know what can't go there through the normal channels, I think puts us in a position that we don't want to be in at all. And I don't think Bob does either. I don't
No.
think anybody wants to be in that position. So,
So, that's the end of that.
unless we have a motion to move forward.
Okay, good enough.
Thank
I
you,
guess the
Bob.
next item is my intentions are to resign. We've talked about this now for 3 months. and I would like to make that effective today.
Okay, do we need it in writing?
No,
I don't think so. I think you can just accept his
you
resignation.
can accept it.
Okay, we have a resignation from, is this immediately?
Probably need to make it the end of the day, because I got things I need to finish up, the sheriff.
We have a resignation notice from Sheriff Hook, effective 5 p.m. this
Yes.
afternoon
Yes.
for his resignation. Do we have a motion to accept that? I'll make that a motion to accept that resignation by Sheriff Robert Hook. Motion by Averill to accept Robert Hook's resignation notice. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. Any discussion?
And then you already got somebody, like you said, in place of it, right? That you'd like to.
I'd like to, I guess, endorse Chief Deputy Michael Bieber for that position. I'll be here the remainder of the day, and I'll be at his beck and call if he needs something. I've got some reports to finish up today and get to the state's attorney, and I'll get rid of some personal property out of the building, the minutia stuff that I've had with me. Yeah, I like to think that the citizens of the county that have approached me have made it very clear that they want a sheriff in place with some longevity and some stability. Mr. Bieber, he did not contact us. I contacted him. Done a thorough background on him to include the Post Board, Northfield Crime Bureau, CI. Talked to people in his background from the days he was in high school forward. He's very qualified for the job. He's been working here since December 11th. What he's accomplished in that time frame has been very, very, very impressive. I would just ask that you appoint him for the remainder of the term and give the citizens some stability and some evenness in the law enforcement world. Internally, I hate to retire, but when it comes time, it's time, and it is now time for Bob Hook to no longer be sheriff.
Any further discussion?
Thank you for your service, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, Bob, thank you.
Barring no further discussion, we'll vote on accepting the resignation, not that we have any choice anyway. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Bob. So, this brings up an agenda item that we don't have on here, but we need to then appoint a sheriff, and the duration of that appointment is the question. And I don't know, Jamie, does that have to be decided right now, or can we appoint him on a real short interim basis till we do some research on that?
We can appoint him as an interim sheriff, or we can appoint him as a permanent appointment until the
Election.
term ends.
Yeah. So it'll be, his term is, let me clarify, Bob.
You'd have to run for election on year 3 starting today, or starting the first year. So 3 years from January 1st, that year is election year.
But that isn't the only option, of course.
No.
The other option would be run for election.
An election this fall, I believe, for
Yeah.
the 2 years remaining in the term.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that. We could do the full term. He could be appointed as an interim sheriff. You could go to sheriff and have him as chief deputy. There are a bunch of different things that the county can do. I wouldn't recommend, I don't think, going without a sheriff and having a chief deputy, because
No.
there's civil process things that need to be done, and there needs to be a person that's responsible for that. But you have those other 3 options, I believe.
So the precedent in Griggs County on officials leaving has been an election at the next election, and then he'd have to run again in 2 years, just like the county. That's been the precedent on how that works.
That's how I went through it.
That's almost everybody has.
Yeah.
And so I would, if you want to settle this now, I would think that we appoint him until the next election in 2024 this year.
Correct.
Right. And then, I don't know what that means. And then, of course, then the process 2 years from there, he'd run again and get back on schedule. That would be my suggestion. That's a blend between having a special election and having it 3 years down the road. It's in between now.
I'll make that motion, John.
Just to clarify before I say it, then, so the motion would be then to appoint until the next election in 24, November
November of this year.
November of 2024.
And that would not be a special election then?
No, that would be just, no.
Okay.
Somebody else on the ballot.
No, that's fine, because then it would go on to the ballot as vote for sheriff for the unexpired 2-year term.
Mm.
So,
I'll second that.
We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. At this point, I think we'll need someone to swear him in.
Yeah,
Bob, you have that?
I can do that. We gotta get an oath of office, and I'll have to type that up, and then we'll do that officially.
Okay.
Still want to do it during the meeting sometime? Can do that still or not?
If you desire.
That way it's public notice, that way.
If you desire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can take a picture and put it in the paper then, too.
Okay. You fine with that?
What time's your meeting done? We'll get that put together.
I can
Real
go
quick.
and print it right now.
Thank you, Bob, for everything.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We voted on when we're gonna, the term and okay, we've got all that.
Yep.
Okay. Jamie, is that everything we need to do right now?
For sure.
Yeah. There's no other paperwork with the state, just the oath of office?
We'll take care of that paper today. We just gotta send some stuff to Post for it. That's just a simple form. I do my termination for retirement, and then we change his position within the department to sheriff, and then I will have to know the state radio. I'll do that all as soon as we get back down.
All the contact information will
everything will
change
be
over.
here, yeah. That's something we do all the time routinely, so
Okay,
it'll all be finished.
got it.
So make sure Sam's got all the contact information, and she can share that with you guys, or how we're gonna do that. So.
Okay, so we won't close this discussion. We'll keep it open till the end of the meeting when we administer the oath of office, I guess.
What's our target time here?
20, 30
Chelsea's
minutes?
coming with it right now.
Okay. Road department. Wayne, you're not resigning, are you?
Not today.
Okay, good. Can't handle too big at season one.
Yeah, been a mild winter, so. Looks like pages 13 through 15. It's proposed street improvements in Hannaford. There's 22 blocks that they're gonna redo and repave. And along with that, Griggs County put in a request for funding for flexible transportation. Also to do County 126 that goes through Hannaford all the way out to the fertilizer plant there. And to overlay it and get it to be under the 5.5. But I think, Samantha, is John supposed to sign this? Or?
I just smile and all.
Yep, if he wants to. Yep, that's that.
So in this,
Yeah. No.
in your packet, there's a copy of a letter of support for the City of Hannaford's project. And they requested to have the county support the project, which might help to get it through the selection committee.
John's just jamming out over there. Just sit on it.
So if you would consider have Mr. Wakefield sign that
Yeah.
letter of support, that would be great.
So we'll need a motion endorsing the letter of support for the city of Hannaford. And that's all it is we're supporting this project, not financially, but in.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Averill to sign the letter of support for the city of Hannaford for the North Dakota DOT Streets Grant. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Letter of support approved.
Okay. So Paul from KLJ also sent in a request for funding for County Road 8 cut across the community. And they're both submitted, I believe, but the letter of supports can still come in later. So.
Basically asking for another letter of support for it type of deal.
Well, I think the county is already given that blessing for that project, because we're going to have it. The chances are probably pretty slim, but the more, yep.
How much total money is it? 40 million, 50 million? I mean, out there.
Yeah,
It's not that lot.
40 million.
Yeah.
So, I was also going to give a little report on, we received some money from the state treasurer. It's called Legacy Earnings. It's not the Legacy Fund. It's probably earnings from that fund. And the county got $98,415. Confess, it's around, kind of explains what they can be used for. Nothing has to be done today. But the townships also received a little over 7,000 for 5,000, depending upon how many miles of road we got.
Blessings.
And it explains that the money should either go directly into the road fund or road and bridge fund, or it could be put in a special fund. And that's what I think I'm suggesting, recommending to put it in a special fund, just like our prairie dog funds is in one fund, the 1405 fund is a separate fund. And then this would be the legacy earnings fund.
Within the highway, within the road department?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could like give it.
So,
If you wanted to, you give it to the townships and stuff for the house too, could you?
Well, here's the townships.
Yeah. Another township got some too.
Townships, no, this is for the county.
Oh, I see what you're saying now, okay. I see what you're saying now.
so it needs to be then outside of the road department because that's a general fund. So it needs to be in a C fund so that it doesn't impact the.
The road department is a C fund, but
Yeah,
it would be its own.
So it doesn't
It's like
impact
the
the levy,
money.
right? Yeah.
It would be just like the Back the Blue or the
Yep.
COVID or the, all those.
So you'll assign it
Mhm.
and then you'll assign it a fund and then bring it to us next meeting so we can approve it.
Sure.
So we know where it's at. Because it'll be a part of the budget then.
Yeah, thanks, yeah.
It'll be an amendment to the budget.
Explain what it can be used for: construction, reconstruction, repair, maintenance of public highways, including equipment, salaries, gravel, etc.
Beautiful.
So this gets to be.
Salaries. If you wanted to give your crew more money, there you go. Or equipment.
Or equipment, but
You've been needing more equipment.
You hear about that?
You just start writing your shopping list.
Unless you're talking about a workout machine.
we already got that. We can go up to the RC Cooper to do that. So I guess that completes my from the front. Well, I should say, I'm sure you're all aware that Gary Varberg's wife is having problems, and they are in Minneapolis right now. Getting set up. She's going to be there. She'll be there in isolation for about a month. After these 2 weeks, she's down there now. So he may need some additional sick leave later on. Right now, he's okay. So keep your thoughts on them. It's quite a battle they're going through. So. That's it.
The count or the township funds, Wayne, does that get distributed? Does that go into the general fund and then directly to the townships?
It doesn't go into the general fund, I don't think. It came
Nope.
to the treasurer, and then she directly
They have
sent it
their
out
own
to each,
miscellaneous.
deposit each amount into the township. It doesn't go into the general fund.
It didn't come through the county then. This is directly from the state to
It's
the
directly from the state. Yep.
state to the townships. Okay.
And he's already in our township, in the funds already. And
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So we don't need to act on that. And we'll want to see the next meeting. We'll want to see the budget, how that money and where it ended up
Cool.
in that fund. Okay. Wayne, anything else?
That's it. We hope the snow goes around.
I can live with winters like this.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they talking 1 below this week? But that's still pretty mild compared to what we can have in January.
So do we have that oath?
That's true.
Bob, you got the oath?
Ready?
Did you want to administer it?
Yeah, and then when we're done, we'll take a picture here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't pull my hair. So.
Funny.
Yeah. Sure, John. Mine's leather. Okay. State your name and city of residence.
I'm Michael Paul Bieber, Bedford, North Dakota.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Griggs County Sheriff according to the best of your abilities? So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations. Yeah, we'll get this to you. We'll get it notarized.
Perfect.
Hold ring, I gotta go.
Thank you.
Bob, wait 1 second.
Yeah,
Are you on this Department of Corrections
One
and
second.
Rehabilitation? Or is that you, Jamie?
Not me.
Yeah, all right. This grant agreement. This we made.
Okay.
So it looks like this grant is spread out. It's for juvenile detention, I believe, rehabilitation, and it's spread out between all the counties and cities of, you know, go to page 23 of so we're just accepting this grant, correct?
For what?
There's this grant for this for the North Dakota Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Agreement. There's monies involved in that, the way it looks.
I gotta see it.
Okay.
It's that juvenile one.
Oh, yes.
So it's basically just money, so if
Yeah,
we
that's
if we
a
send,
major win for the county.
Yep.
It's-
so if somebody needs treatment or needs help, we can put the money towards that.
It's emergency, like spur of the moment type stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if Jamie explained it, but for us, that's a
I
crucial
didn't realize
thing.
that's what, yeah, it's for juvenile detention. Juvenile
Yeah.
detention is like $400 a day, so we just rarely put someone in there.
And it also gives us an option.
This defers the cost of that.
Oh, great.
We have a miserable time with adults, the juvenile just not possible, so. And we have no other option.
So on page 25, that contribution, total contribution is $1,500, no monthly contribution. Is that our contribution, or is that the grant contribution to?
That's our contribution to it.
Okay,
Then when we use it, we get no bill.
okay,
So, very good money spent.
okay. Very good. Jamie, you're in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to approve the North Dakota Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Agreement.
So move.
Motion by Edlin to approve the North Dakota Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation Agreement. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second by Avriel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Avriel. Do you have something for me to sign? Sign it here.
No, but I'll get it signed through DocuSign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. County, before we go with the county software, so I got a question the other day about why we don't have roll call vote on every thing we vote on.
Be it.
So the simple answer is, yeah, we should, but for something that's obvious, adjourning the meeting, approving the bills, there's no need. But if any of you at any time require a roll call vote, all you have to do is just say, I'd like to have a roll call vote on this. Otherwise, should we just keep doing it the way we do it? We do it on the financial side just
Yeah.
because.
I can see if it's discrepancy and we're not sure, then do an individual one, but it seems to be going pretty smoothly.
I would say policy and financials and everything else. Again, are we going to adjourn? Well, what happens if we decide I'm not going to adjourn and we sit here? I mean, it's those things are just for speed and speeding it up. And I already took more time than I should have on it. County software.
Roll call vote for any time that there's an expenditure of money.
Yep. Yep.
We do.
And policy is another good one to have it on. But again, anybody can call for a roll call vote at any time. County software. Page 46.
So page 46 and 47 is Kelly from Dakota Programs, his take on, us. We are the only county that does not have
Back up yet.
somewhere where we're kind of going. So I didn't even think about it, but the one thing is that they do have a budget, and so if all these counties are gone, we're going to have to pick up those other counties part of Dakota Programs. There is Software Innovations. They have decided not to pull out of North Dakota. We did do a demo with them. It is green screen. I mean, we are dated. It is black with green writing. That is how outdated this is. I just don't think that's the way that we need to go. The other one was CPT. We did a demo with them. Oh, they were the green
They were
screen.
green screen. Software Innovations. We were supposed to have a Zoom. They pulled out and never.
We haven't heard from them again, so it's kind of
Well,
yeah. And those are your options besides Tyler. All the other counties went with Tyler. It is a huge ticket price, but
They haven't dropped the price then.
no, they haven't. But they kept it for us even after the deadline or whatever. So
were you guys able to pick and choose what modules you wanted to keep and not keep? Did that change the price
And we
at
did,
all?
and that's when it went from 209,000 to
74.
100 and something. It was over 200, and then we got it down to 179, I think it was, 89, from removing some modules.
Okay. And this needs to be completed by,
Sounds like now, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So have you tried reaching back out to Software Innovations?
We were going to after everything kind of calmed down with ending of the books and things like that or whatever. But my thing on that is they want our business. Why are we, going out and, I mean, that kind of shows what kind of
support you're gonna get.
they're,
And Tyler's very, very good to work with. The two people that we've both spoken to and are working with are really wonderful. Very helpful, explain everything. They said they'd be willing to come here even and do demos and do explanations.
And if you guys want them to come and talk to you guys, they are more than willing to do that as well. But I mean, that's where we are. I don't know what else we can really do. What process you guys want us to take going forward? But we should probably get something in the plans
So every county's pretty much gone with them, is that correct?
with Tyler. Yeah.
So I have, because I injected myself in the middle of this, I've spoken with a couple counties that have or are trying to get out of their contract with Tyler and to go back with Software Innovations. One of those is McKenzie County.
It's a big county.
And it's a big county. They was going to save.
No, they're going with CPT.
Oh, they're going with CPT.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's that green screen. I mean,
Okay.
I was super excited about it because McKenzie County was going with them, and they spoke very highly of them. Their website was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the website is like, if they put that much effort into their software, it would be great. But
that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to update their software either.
They said that they were going to update the payroll part of it within a few years or whatever, but they had no plans for the GL part of it.
And Travis was in here too, and he looked at it, and he was like,
This
really
would need its
concerned
own
about it.
server. I mean, it's back, like, way dated.
It's older than Dakota Programs.
You're not going 2024.
This
You'd be going with an old software.
it would be, yeah.
There's no sense going backwards on software.
So I have spoken. Barnes County is also contacting me. The state's attorney from Barnes County also contacted me about helping to try to get out of the contract with Tyler. I spoke with the state's attorney out of Walsh County, and she recommended not using Tyler because everything that Tyler did was screwed up in her opinion. So that's information that I've gotten. Some of it's unsolicited information. Other stuff is that it's come up in conversation, but based on the information I have, I don't know if there's a perfect one, because someone seems to have a complaint, or some user seems to have a complaint. But I think that we need to definitely do some checking.
That's kind of like our long-term care. There's 3 different long-term care softwares to use for billing and everything else, and everybody loves one and not the other. Or it's we love Matrix, we like Point Click Clear. It's there's always a good and bad in every one of them. It's just the sake of finding one that you are the users.
Mm-hmm.
What one you guys like?
No, that's wrong. The citizens are the users.
The citizens aren't using the software.
They are the ones paying for the software. They are the ones that are benefiting from the software or lack of software, and they are the ones that have to be considered in this decision. So this software is not required to do the job of the treasurer and the auditor. It was long after this system was put in place that the software came around. If we're going to pay $175,000 plus $60,000 or whatever the yearly fee is, and the workload they think is too high, why don't we hire another person and do it manually?
This software would do up all of your tax statements, would do up all of the levies, we couldn't do that by hand. Like,
We're going to work smarter, not harder.
It was done by hand forever. How do you think the tax
I need
statements
3
got
more
set
deputies
out?
then if we're going
Yeah,
back
I
to
know.
that.
What's that?
I need 3 more deputies if we're going back to
No.
that then.
You can't go backwards. It's
What, that's not,
2024.
that is not backwards. That's not backwards, and that gives you an understanding of what we're actually doing. I venture to say that the mechanics of how the government works would be hard to explain for a lot of the people that are actually working in this government. How do we figure a mill levy? Because all we do is punch in a number and it spits out the information. There needs to be a working, you need to be able to understand the system in order to effectively work the system. This just seems absurd to me that we're going to spend this kind of money on something that traditionally was done with a paper and a
Well,
pencil.
it's crazy. We used to have paper charts too, but that's no longer existent. Personally, I prefer that you guys choose what software you guys have and present it to us, and we'll have to figure a way where to find it in the budget to
What-
accommodate.
Is there a big price difference with these other ones other than Tyler?
I haven't got the pricings for Software Innovations because we haven't gone that far. CPT was lower in the beginning, but they were going to be $40,000 after, and that was going to increase 5%, I think, like that every year. So it wouldn't have. That would have been more expensive, and that was way outdated. With Tyler, it's a big ticket price up front, and then it would be $19,000 after that each year. And they didn't say anything about it increasing after so many years or anything like that. So
there's 3 different providers then?
yes,
Okay, can we schedule a presentation from those 3
with you guys or us?
with us?
With you guys, okay. Hmm.
Whether it be Zoom or in person, or
Yeah.
we need and we need to know these. Of course, we need to know what functions it doesn't matter if it's outdated. It doesn't matter what the screen looks like. It matters whether or not it accomplishes the purpose we're trying to accomplish. So pretty doesn't matter in this instance. We need to know. So we need to compare the functions and to compare the price. And there needs to be consideration given for the ability to service the system, but those are all questions that need to be asked, and we need to be able to ask them of all 3 entities in order to make an informed decision. So I would say we respond to Kelly Hornstein that we are in the process.
Yeah, well, just, yeah, schedule, they want to come next meeting or whatever they can come, you know.
No, Kelly's governs off. He's the one that's trying to push us to do this because he wants out.
Oh, he wants out.
Yeah.
He's the one that's retiring.
Oh, he's the one.
okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, this is our current situation.
Oh, this is the
current guy.
okay.
Yep.
That sound reasonable?
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll line that up?
Hmm?
Would you get them all in the same meeting, or would you?
Probably not.
I'm wondering if they could just, send us something or whatever. Maybe I could do a demo.
Well, it'd be nice. It would be nice to be able to ask some questions,
Right.
so that we have it. How much is it going to cost? What do you expect for future increases?
Yeah, I want
What are
that.
they?
Maybe give them their own like time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
tell them
here,
they each
you're
have.
here,
Yeah.
just so that they're able to schedule.
Okay. Old courthouse, new courthouse.
Nothing.
One thing I heard, wondering about moving snow and everything like that. I guess snow and ice, and that cleared out the sidewalks. I guess there was an issue with that.
After the ice storm, yeah.
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 He's been laying
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
sand
Yeah.
and stuff.
And what happened that day is they sent the trucks out right away, and then didn't come back and did the kind of courthouse afterwards. So there's some complaints about that.
Our salt bucket was empty too,
Yeah,
so we couldn't
so-
even go out there.
No, I know, that's what happened, so, we ain't got to it, but we already sent the trucks and everything else to the out for that time, so.
Anything else? Future business.
I'll do some more checking on, with, the appraisal, and I gave it to the township, brochure, the,
Crown appraisals.
yeah, all that, so I'll keep bugging them, see what the schedule is on that one, so.
So for your next meeting, I have Back the Blue Grant, the Legacy Fund, and the county software.
And I'll hopefully have something more on the other one. I'll
Okay.
keep bugging them.
Oh, the legacy fund, just how you set it up in the budget.
Yep.
Okay. So, we need to have the audit on there also.
The 2023?
3, yeah.
Okay.
And prior.
Oh, what about, you remember last time in a comment, we had overtime in the sheriff's budget? How are we gonna fix that?
Well, so in order to do that, we need to have the audit, we need to have the books closed out. We
Okay.
need to know the figures and what money we have to work with, and then, yeah. Yeah. So, because what we'll have to do is we'll have to move money around so that none of those accounts end up with a deficit number. They can't.
Yeah.
And the problem is, of course, every dollar it was over a deficit is going to have to be,
Yeah.
but it's going to have to be levied this next year now. So it is spending money that wasn't allocated. It's not allowed. But yet it happened.
Will you make sure you send us the December 30 books?
You want those ones?
I
And-
love that when you do that.
End of the month. Okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know if you wanted them at the end of the month just because we closed out of the year, so it really didn't matter now because those are different. But yeah, I can.
Yeah,
send all
we'll
those.
use that to.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
I like those.
Keep in mind, though, those funds aren't fungible between accounts a lot of times. That's the problem. So money left over in a general fund rolls back to the general fund against next year's. It isn't spare money. Money not spent rolls back. The only money that is that can be spent is in a C fund where it's not, but the rest of it rolls back against next year's levy. That's why spending over a budget basically is levying money for the next year. Actually, you won't see it for 2 years. So it's not like a regular business where you can look at it and say, well, here, I've got money here, I can take and move it over here. There's a consequence for that. Any other future business?
What's this?
Oh, sorry. Goodness gracious. On the back page, there is your Nova fire. My bad. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, that wasn't on there.
It was on Old Courthouse, New Courthouse. Sorry. This is your fire protection service agreement.
All right.
The only thing I did, obviously, is took Bob off, and I wasn't sure who we were going to have for sheriff, or if you wanted it to stay within the sheriff. I can switch that to Michael now, too.
So we need a motion to approve this then?
Yes, please.
Well, the question is, should we put it under the new sheriff's name, or do you want it just under your name for now, Sam? And then when we get another new elected sheriff, or should we just?
Well, it should be under the maintenance people that are taking care of the courthouse. That should be the contact. But it can be you, and then you can pass it on to them. But
If you don't
Bob
mind.
just did it because he knew something about it.
Yeah.
Keep me, or do you want Brian?
No, we'll keep you.
Keep me.
you.
Okay.
There's
So-
just one more thing that poor guy's got to maintain.
And yeah,
That's fine, but I just want to make sure that, you know.
So given that, we'll need a motion to
A motion
approve the fire protection and service agreement. We have a motion by Zorn to that effect. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Avriel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed, same sign. We're protected.
do you want to sign it, or do you want me? Doesn't at the bottom.
Well,
No, you're on there. Well, you're the billing.
in the billing.
It just says billing, so you can
Oh.
sign it if you want.
Well, I guess it would, yeah, if it was on the agenda, I suppose. The commission has to sign it. We approved it, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay, now anything else?
I'll make.
You're up.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Tranby to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Zorn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. This is where you could have called for a roll call vote.
Yeah, right.
Opposed, same sign.
Right.
Well, they have been out and voted anyways.
Meeting adjourned. 10:30 a.m. Next regular meeting, January 22nd. This room at 9:30 a.m.